And welcome to the Refresh podcast. Yeah. We are super excited to have you join us again today. And we are really grateful that you have joined us again today. We hope that you're doing fine. Are you guys fine in the studio?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you mean that Spain's economy has got nothing on you?
I bank on Jesus.
Come on now. See, this is our host. She's our host. She's not our guest. She's our host today. Because it seems like she's even much more excited than we who have the privilege of having her with us in the house. Right. Come on, guys. Give a shout out to Kim. Kim, you're welcome. You're welcome to the Refresh podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you're doing, but anyway, you look very beautiful today. So I know that Spain's economy has got nothing on you.
I hope so.
So today we are going to be talking about violence, domestic violence. That's what we want to talk about today. As you guys know already, this is the Refresh podcast where we hold your hand and guide you through this journey of life. We talk about things that every Christian should know in this journey of life. Domestic violence. Recently, we saw a video on social media where one man was beating his wife. One man that works with, I think they say PwC or something like that.
He's actually a lawyer.
A lawyer. And then he was beating his wife and she was saying, I'm going to call my father for you, that kind of thing. And then he beat his wife in front of his daughter. Did you guys see that?
No, he actually told the kids to watch this.
But the girl actually saw.
Yes.
She saw like the piano.
She saw the shouting
and the things he does
terrible.
And then they were reluctant going away.
Yes.
Not like
because they knew what was going to happen.
It wasn't the first time.
So we are going to be touching different aspects of domestic violence here. So, but first of all, Kim, what do you understand by domestic violence? Just very briefly, just as.
Let me begin by saying, what is violence in the whole sense?
Thank you.
Anything that causes harm to your mental, physical, and also your psychological health. Oh, thank you, financial, is violence. So now when we come here and say domestic violence, we bring it back home. So this can be a father to daughter thing. It will be husband to wife. It can also be between siblings. So as long as you are messing with my mental health here, and there's always a genesis. Let's begin from there because now you might not be hitting me physically, but words you say to me are hurting me, and that's where the mental disturbance comes in. So the emotional, yes. Now, if I have a poor mental or emotional management, I might also vent my anger, and before you know, it's a battlefield. You see, now the woman is probably she's used to it, so she's just taking the hit. But some people will bounce back.
Yeah, true.
And don't be surprised, that man's going to be the one visiting the hospital. So most of the time, people do not know how to manage their pain or anger, and then they just want to vent it out, and they do it wrongly. So domestic violence is something that really should be handled because there's no way out if you as a person cannot maintain your own problem. I can choose to run away from it when I see traces that you show me, but I can't help you deal with it if you're not willing to help yourself. Anger issues most of the time
I think it stems from
Now imagine the video you talked about. The wife clearly accused him of something. Let's assume he don't know, but he was wrong. What's the first step? Apology. Oh, I'm sorry. The apology doesn't mean that he's innocent.
They were being egoistic there.
Yes.
I have a question here. You see, this lady married this guy. It means that they would probably have been all lovey-dovey from the beginning of their relationship. Are there signs to watch out for when you're dating somebody? Because you guys are saying it's anger issue. But I have seen scenarios or cases where this person didn't used to have what you call anger issues. Things led to things that led to other things. For example, Kim just told us now that somebody can bounce back. So if I don't have anger issues and my partner has anger issues and is the person that is being violent, then it gets to that day where I just lose it. So what are there things to watch out for? Maybe in the early onset of relationships, or even when the relation is already, sealed, like in the case of marriage, and then you mentioned father to daughter, father to sons, mother to children. That one now, there's no preamble, there's no dating stage. So, what are things to watch out for so that you can protect yourself? Like, anybody, you guys can just respond to
I
that.
think you need to know how they handle
Conflict resolution.
Okay. Because that is key. Because let's take for example, I drop a pop on the table. Some people they don't like that now. Why did I drop this thing now? You should know from the way they react that I think this person has a like issue. This person, reacts this way. I think this person needs help in this area.
Yes, I agree. But I would say that the genesis of all of this, even for you to discover that it's communication first.
Communication.
Yes. Because if we've never had a conversation or I've never met you, I don't know anything about you, then I don't know anything about you. When we talk, I'm having a conversation with you now. In this conversation now, I learned that Toby likes pepper soup.
Pepper soup. Wait, you guys hold on. Did you guys see that video? Did you guys see that video?
Do we even want to go there?
I think related to this. We are going to go to this pepper soup. The girl that killed 4 guys with pepper soup. Guys.
4 guys
and a girl. And
a new girlfriend.
Terrible things are happening. Please, Kim, continue what you're saying.
So if
that Toby likes to do so.
Communication. How would they communicated enough? How would somebody who know that?
Well, you might not know everything. We don't know everything. We learn everything.
That's true. Yeah.
And then I can only tell you what I think you want to know.
Yeah.
You can be in let's use the word squad, as they say. A squad. Now, we are friends. We are a group of friends. But why is it that there's always one person closest to you than the other people? It's always like that, but we're all friends. There's that. They say inside. Yes. Sure. The way they say it now, they say inside that cartel, inside that squad, there's a cartel. Yeah. So there's a reason. It might not be intentional, but it is purposeful. Now, this person gets you better because apart from the flawed discussion that everybody has, you find out that this person has more to talk about or to say or even to point out to you. Mm-hmm. You are in the same direction. You're in line.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when the flawed discussion is off, you can say, hey, so what do you think about this? But you're not asking the rest people. You're not asking others. You're asking this person because that person seems to be on your level.
Yeah.
Now, let's assume that this is how you pick your relationship. We're all friends. And I found out that Nikki gets me. And before you know, Toby used to be my friend. All of a sudden, Toby is not my friend. Not like he stopped being my friend, but I find myself more inclined with him.
True.
How did I get there? Because we talk. So when you talk to people, you find out things they like, things they don't like, and things they won't take. Now, the genesis of domestic violence is from toxic relationship. You still go there. Because, there's a relationship before you got into marriage, right? Mm-hmm. So, but in that preparatory time and process, I know that it doesn't like when you discuss some sensitive things. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about marriage. We have to be sensitive.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you, so I know you're a quiet person. So what happens when I offend you? Do you just shut me off like you used to do on WhatsApp? You block me till when you're over it and then you unblock me. We're going to be married or we're going to be living in the same house. So what happens when I piss you off? Are you going to shut the door, lock me out? What do? I cook, you won't eat. What are we going to do?
Lock their wives outside.
Yes.
Because they attend a party.
And like you're supposed to be home by then, you're just coming. How did we get there? So I believe that there has been a boundary or a limit. Yes.
And you've been crossing that.
And then there have been restrictions sometimes too. You feel like if I ask him this, he's not going to talk or he doesn't like it, so you don't ask. Well, you should if you're going to cross that boundary. Mm-hmm. If he's not letting you in, it doesn't want you in. And then if we're going to be together, then there should be no boundaries. That's why you are not them. You're not the 5 friends I have.
So how do you then manage a situation where somebody doesn't want, for example, let me give an example myself. I don't like long calls.
Okay.
There is almost no how you're going to do it. That you keep me on the phone for a very long time. I just don't like long phone calls. I don't know how you would try to manipulate it. I don't like long phone calls. And I could date somebody who wants to talk.
Hours.
I'll get tired. I'll sleep on the phone. So, and then, okay, yesterday I had to literally tell somebody to get off the phone that I was tired of talking. My boss. I said, sir, I'm tired. I'm sorry. I'm tired of this call. He said, you must talk. You must talk. You cannot say.
Your boss is really nice.
I have told him several times that I don't like long phone calls. I used to like phone calls before, but because I'm in a customer facing job and because of the nature of my job where people are always calling in to complain and talk, complain, shout on you and all of that. So I get jittery when my phone is ringing. I don't. In fact, my phone is literally permanently on silence. I don't want to hear it ring. So if I'm telling somebody I don't like phone calls and the person is trying to force me, and then gets to the point where I begin to want to avoid this person, or the person begins to get angry at me, how do you manage such a thing where somebody says, this is a limit, please don't cross it?
I believe let's begin with friends, for example. We all have boundaries and limits. I'm a very outspoken person.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can hardly get that person to make it. But let's assume that you get. I understand you will read body languages, but some people still are not that sensitive to know that this person is getting tired.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
It's a problem. But then in this relationship you share with this person, whether friendship, platonic or intimacy, whatever it is, I believe there's a way you substitute for that shortcoming. You don't do long hour calls. But they know that, I got off work early today. What are you doing? Let's go and eat amala somewhere now. They know that you don't do long calls, but when you have time,
you can sit and gist, yeah.
Am I permitted to make a reference now?
Yeah, sure.
I've been in a relationship with somebody who is extremely quiet and busy. I won't say I changed it, but I know when he's free because his call comes in and like, I have about 15 minutes break. So what's good? This is somebody that doesn't like to go. You understand? So, in situations where you already know who you're dealing with, when they are deviating from the usual, you can tell something is wrong. If somebody actually opens up to you now, even though you don't do long calls, you communicate well. Sure. It's not about the time now, it's how well. So if you communicate well with your friends, we know that, okay, sometimes I call and it's just, hey, what's up, how you doing? Oh, Kim, I'm tired, I'm there. We talk tomorrow, we see in church today. And I see you in church and you're still giving me that attitude.
Then
I know something is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we know about the call, but you are not like this. So maybe when I find a convenient time to approach you, because you will be busy, you might be tired or hungry, whatever. I can tell we are friends. That's why I'm still going to emphasize on communication, because that is the foundation. You've gotten to know this person to an extent, and then you can relate when they act in a kind of way. So I'm like, okay, finally service is over, and then Toby, so why are you so cold to me? Did I offend you? I know I did not offend you, but that might be an avenue for me to come in. Like, what did I do now? Is it because I called you late? Oh yeah, sorry. I knew you should be sleeping by then. But like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Sometimes give them that space.
Yes.
And let them come back.
Yes.
Right.
There's a level to which you would have built your relationship with people that you don't need to ask or ask too much.
Yeah,
sometimes you might be too much being fussy and pushy. No. Men, especially they like their space, they like boundaries. And if there's anything you will do, let them have their space.
I forgot.
They like their space.
Everybody loves space.
It might not be easy for somebody who now likes, taking you back to long calls and all. Let's assume in a relationship, your partner is somebody who likes to talk. You might not do long calls, but when you're available, you might be home, you're not even in a mood for a conversation. She might just need your presence. You're here and then you're reading your book or you're on your phone or whatever, and her head is just on your side. You're minding your business, so is she. But you're spending time together, even though we're not actually messing with each other person's privacy. God bless you. So we're here, we're still sharing that time. You just need to understand who you're dealing with, what their preferences are, and their mood. Learn to read countenance and body language. Sometimes they can't tell you because they don't know how to say it politely. I need my space, excuse me. But you should be able to know that, okay, this is somebody I've dealt with over time. And that's why it's good to be sensitive too sometimes. Sometimes you don't even know what it is, but just ask him for them. Like, okay, let me just let me just say he's tired. You know he's not tired, but let me just give him that benefit of doubt. And I keep saying him because it's discussion, but this is, both ways. So
I have a question. Are you saying that people in domestic violence, they cost it for themselves?
No.
Trigger their partners to violence towards them because they didn't understand.
I think it goes two ways.
It's the communication, because you have seen those signs.
I personally think it goes two ways. For example, some people grew up in violent environments. Maybe they saw their father beat their mother, and then because of that, they said to themselves, I will never allow any man beat him. As a woman, say, you saw your mom suffer in the hands of your father, and then you grew up to hate. I know somebody who does not like men because she saw her father be violent to her mom. So now she's close to 40 and she's not yet married because of that issue that she had while she was growing up. Now, if such a person gets married and they don't solve that issue of anger, the slightest thing their partner will do to them will feel aggressive. Meanwhile, it may not even be like that. It may not be like that. I used to know somebody, or I'm still close to somebody who, when you're having a misunderstanding, and he's trying to talk to you about it, he would be raising his voice. I'll be like, no, what I'm asking you is just basic. I just wanted you to explain yourself so that I understand, because I don't want to misunderstand. But in what he's trying to say to me, he'll be raising his voice, and until one day I went to their house, and I saw that that's like the norm. Everybody shouts at everybody. When they are talking, everybody shouts at everybody. So he didn't see it that it was wrong.
I think I'll come across
somebody like that. Meanwhile, in my home, my family, when there is an issue, we sit and we solve it. We talk about it, and nobody shouts. If you try to raise your voice, my mom will say you're being disrespectful. Drop your voice. So that is how I am. If I have an issue with anybody, we sit. I want to talk about it, and then it just goes like that. Yeah. Secondly, you can be the reason why you are going through what you are going through in the hands of your partner. For example, No, I'm not. Okay, well, I don't know the genesis of their problem, the people in that video, but from what I saw, the little I saw in that video, the lady could not handle that situation well. I'm not blaming her, she's the victim, but she couldn't handle that situation well.
What was it second?
Good.
She was calm.
She wasn't. She was calm because she planted that video. Oh, okay. She planted the camera. That's why she was calm. But her words were provocative. What? She kept pushing him.
Why she said she was going to call her father?
She kept pushing him to do what he was doing. Because she knew he probably used to beat her before that time. So she was pushing him because she had planted the camera. She wanted that animal in him to come out. Now, it is possible for you, like him has said, there are certain boundaries that people don't want you to cross. And if you have not had that conversation with them to the point where you now have a middle ground where you can now cross that boundary in a way that they won't feel offended. Yes. If you try to cross that boundary and they warn you several times and you don't do anything about it, there will be a problem. I've seen people that will offend you. You try to tell them that, Kim, why did you step on me? Say, that's small thing. See, that's small thing because I just stepped on you. I stepped on her that day, she did not complain. What do you mean by stepped on her, she didn't complain? Am I okay? Maybe for her, you stepped on her, it's not an offense. She saw it as a or maybe even a situation where you stepped on her was a friend. But you stepped on me and I'm telling you, I feel like the reason why I am telling you is because I value your relationship.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, I would just keep it in my heart that you stepped on me and I won't relate to you anymore. But I'm telling you so that you can see that I don't like what you did, apologize, and then make amends. Then our relationship continues. So sometimes in violent relationships or domestic violent relationships, it could be the two. Sometimes it's because that person himself or herself is violent. On the other hand, you are the one that is not managing that situation well. I have seen instances where two people are not of the same religion, but they have lived together as a couple for so many years, they didn't have any problem. My boss was telling me about somebody, a man and a woman, that the wife is a pastor, the man is an allergy. The wife is a pastor, the man is an allergy. In fact, my boss was telling me, we got to know them because the man bought a highest bus for his wife's church.
Wow.
Yeah, he bought a bus for the church so that they'll be using it for their operations.
Nice.
I thought when they bought that bus, because I don't know the woman, I thought when they bought that bus, they wanted to use it for their business. And I discovered that he's for church and he's the man's wife. But you see, some other relationships, maybe the woman will be telling the man that he will go to hell because he's not born again. And you don't know that the reason why God even placed you in the life of that man is probably to help him, because maybe every other person has tried to get into his heart, but they can't get into his heart. You will use love to get into his heart. So it depends on how you are managing the relationship. The thing Kim said about communication, too important. It cannot be overemphasized, but a lot of us just look down and it's a problem.
I would like to add something now that you talked about love. One of the reasons I'll add to what he has said is that sometimes these people who find themselves in domestic violence or violence have been there for a while because they feel or have felt like that's the safest place for them. Now, these are people who have never experienced love. Somebody coming from...
I saw a video of a lady, she was saying that if a guy does not beat her...
yeah, I've seen that.
What is wrong? What is wrong with this lady?
If a guy does not beat her, she does not feel...
Because I remember that video.
Guy loves her.
She's not loved that
I
much.
saw... Okay, this...
That if the guy beats her, that's when she knows that yes... So
this lady took her husband to court and said... the man is making her gain weight. Okay, so what exactly is the problem? The man said, I love my wife. I can wake up at any time, make her toast ready, that's what she wants, make her whatever. And the lady was like, yes, I acknowledge that they can cook. This man can cook. I can wake up 12 a.m. I'm like, babe, I want milkshake, and he's going to make it. Now I'm gaining weight.
So that's a problem.
That's a problem. And she was like, so man, is that your problem?
I think
said,
the judge is a female.
How old are you, sir? And it was about 50 years. She said, and then he said, I will gladly give you the judgment you want now and let this man go onto the street, but be sure that I will be the first person catching him.
Oh, wow.
Why would you say?
Sorry, I don't know if you saw in news some months ago that the judge who what did that he was for a couple and then went on to marry the man.
Oh my God.
Why not? Do you know that problem to you is somebody's prayer point?
Yeah, now.
She went on to marry the man.
The guy is cooking for
And
then she's beginning to gain weight. So, okay, this same man that is pumping you with food is not even complaining about you.
He's not complaining.
Wow.
He likes, I've had somebody say, this belly fat, you say you want to go, there's nothing there. I said, but
she was
he
more
said, that's
requesting
what
for the
makes it
food now.
perfect. Like, I mean, you are not a slim person, so why are you trying to do too much?
Oh my God, guys.
So everybody has what they like, but for some people who have not experienced love before, when you show me love today and tomorrow you flip for some reasons, and you're like, okay, I'm sorry, it's just, I'm sorry, I won't do that again, and then you do it again. But before you do it again, you showed me another chapter of love. And that love is what I have not seen anywhere. I don't have fatherly love, no motherly love, no siblings, nobody loves me. You're the only one showing me something outside what I grew up to know. I feel like, okay, this is actually the safest way, because every other person shows me violence, let's assume outside. But you're the only one showing me love and violence. So why should I leave?
Beating you in the house,
yes.
and after beating you, gives you 3 million naira.
And then you now, that is the error. You've made him break your boundary, because actually you don't have a boundary. You've told him, you do this, I don't like it, but I'm cool with it. Because for every time he misbehaves, he comes back to say sorry and you accept him. Most of the time, see, the simple thing is, domestic violence is as a result of continuous inconsequential misbehaviors. That's just the summary. I'm going to stop here. Because he has been doing it, and you've been taking it. Yeah, so now you are there, you've crossed that bridge, there's no going back.
You have to put your foot on the ground.
It's as a result of continuous misbehavior that you have justified.
Yes.
So that's just it.
Guys, I hope that this conversation, you have been enjoying this conversation. We've been talking about domestic violence for the last few minutes. We've been talking about domestic violence. Now, I want us to talk about signs you would use to know that a relationship is going to become violent in the future. Because it's very possible for you to see certain signs from now. that a relationship become violent in the future. And then after that, we're going to talk about what to do if you are in a domestic violent relationship. First sign, I will start. First sign, is this person separating you from everybody that loves you? Is this person separating you from everyone that loves you? If you're in a relationship with somebody and then they want you all to themselves, I'm not saying like they don't want you to have multiple relationships. I'm saying they're cutting you off from all of your friends. They're cutting you off from your family. They get irritated when your friends come around, when your siblings come around. Or, by the way, you shouldn't even be living with somebody who you're dating. So what do I mean by if you are at your friend's place? Are they separating you from all of these persons? If they are doing that, what they are trying to do to you is that they don't want a situation where when they become violent with you, you won't have anybody to talk to.
That's true.
You won't have anybody to talk to. So the last point Kim was making, where she was saying somebody doesn't feel loved at home, then you will become that person. And you feel like this person is your only safe space. You feel like this is the only place for your existence in the world. And then they will beat you till you die.
And I won't be there. Because me, I would have talked to you.
So guys, other signs that our viewers can use to know that a relationship is going to become violent.
How much observation do you know about, have you heard about the anger management? How do they handle anger? How they react when they, even actually with small talks, when you have a meeting conversation, how does the person react? What does the person say? What content and the replies that you get from such a person? Is it a person that just gets angry and starts burning, fire on one thing, or does he throw things around? Does he destroy things? Or does she destroy things?
Does he say sorry?
You understand? Those kind of things.
This sorry thing is very important.
Does he or try to manipulate?
Some people will never say sorry, and then they will try to change. Girls, you can do this.
Then shake it.
Let's not.
Now, girls, they run this thing past.
Let's not be particular about girls. Let us think like.
Guy, women. You go tell them something, they go manipulate until you go talk sorry.
Okay, now, I for one, have
you know.
an experience in this aspect.
Yeah.
This same person would never say sorry, and that was the reason why I left.
Very terrible.
Is caring, is loving, is all of that, but
how can you be loving and not say sorry?
If you offend me or do something,
you won't say sorry.
You won't say sorry.
That's witchcraft.
One time he said sorry, was like, shouldn't be me.
That's the
that was story. Do you know how that felt? It felt like an achievement, like you should give me something and be like, I achieved one sorry. But in the end, the day I decided to say, I'm done.
No.
I woke up and I was going to call him. And someone was like, man, this guy offended you. And you're going to call him. Do you even know if he thought of you before he slept? Or even if he's even thinking of you now? And I'm like, can you imagine? I've not even said good morning, Jesus. I'm thinking of man. Man that I've not even...
Men are scum.
Men
are scum.
And I said, but...
Men are scum.
Men
are scum. And you can't marry every day. Men are scum, but they marry every day.
So I just thought, like, this is not worth it. And then, it's not like I decided at that point, but I mean, it was a long time coming. I couldn't say it to his face because we were definitely going to have that conversation. I had to compose a text that morning and I sent it to him. I'm not like you. I'm not that strong. I'm not that tough. I can't pretend that everything is well or just assume that nothing happened. If I caused this, I'm sorry. I know I've apologized. But if you're going to keep doing this, I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. Like, I was typing and I was crying, but I knew these tears would be the last. I had to take that stand. I did. To be honest, this is somebody who, if I'm not even working, can feed me, clothe me, and encourage me to do well. Like, if I had graduated well, maybe distinction, he promised me a gift. But as a hustler that I am, I was schooling and hustling. Had like 3 side hustles. I could not be distinction. And I was not even doing it because of him. I could not do it because this was actually where, I had to choose, survival, and also, school is where I came. I even had to cut down 2 or 3 things I was doing at that time. For one, I mean, I came to school, so let me face my primary assignments. But I also needed the other means for survival, right? Even though I had somebody giving me, I still had to make ends meet for myself. So at that point, I'm like, no. Well, before I met him, I was surviving. It was even worse, and I did not die. So I wasn't with him for the money, and I was not going to compromise my feelings to stay because of whatever attention I was giving. I was being given.
Exactly.
Now I could get love from my siblings, my family.
Sure.
Glory be to God, I still have my parents and I have a few friends. Yes, but the feeling and attention I will be getting from a man at that point, I will be deprived because there's nobody else. But was I willing to make that sacrifice? Yes, I sent that message and I cried. And I kept looking at my phone in a way that if he calls me back, what will he do? I knew he was not going to call back. And then I told myself, I know pride will not let you respond to this message, but who gives a fuck? I told him, because for giving we're using the F word. But I did. I had to. And then at that point, I knew that he wanted to respond, but because I already burst his ego, he wasn't going to come. We still talk now. We talked like 2 months ago. Hey, it's been long. You crossed my mind. How you doing? We're fine though. Everybody is on his own now. We're fine. But we're not enemies.
Yeah.
You can see that there was actually nothing to lose. It was just that love. Well, I mean, there's love.
So he
right?
never actually called.
No, he did not. To tell you, I left because a human being will not say
you were
sorry.
very lucky. This is a very big red flag.
I had to. Guess what? Let me tell you something.
Do you know, guys, domestic violence is not only about beating.
Yes.
Yes.
This thing that I was doing, it would have been worse in the relationship if you had married him.
Let me bust your brain. When I broke up and I told my brother, Malik, do you know I broke up with this person? He was like, thank God, I never liked him.
That guy.
It was like, I did not.
We need to meet this guy.
It's not like I hate him, but there was no connection.
Yeah.
I did not.
Wow.
I didn't really just like him. He's a good person. Everybody knows that, but I didn't feel that connection.
Yeah.
I need to meet your brother.
And I was thinking, because, see, to be honest, my brother is my first friend.
Men are scum.
Growing up, you see that love thing, eh? Before I table some issues with friends outside, I can discuss with my siblings. That's the kind of relationship we actually had.
Yeah.
So I can be going through a relationship issue, right? And like a few days ago, I was having an issue with somebody who is supposed to be a prospective,
Yeah.
And I was like, see what this person did, and I was like, thank God you had your own plans. I mean, okay, you're supposed to help me get somewhere, and I was supposed to come back with some package. So since you were driving, it would be cost free for me. And then we got to the destination and was telling me I'm supposed to be somewhere else.
Wow.
Let's even say you are talking stage.
That's me.
You're already giving me that. So I'm not even priority to you. And then this is not an impromptu something. We already had an arrangement. In fact, you called me that you're going on that trip. And I said, since this is somewhere I have something to do, let me go. And I mentioned to you, we're coming back together. Since you're not even staying long. But then I'm going to be coming back with this. You help me. The morning of that, hey, what's up? And I'm like, sorry, something came up.
That's the end of the
Just thank God. See, in this life, have your vex money as a girl.
Right.
Because that's the genesis of many things. Have your vex money. You're going to see the love of your life. Still hold your vex money.
We are in a want for
time.
We are in a want for time. This commercial is really, really interesting. But we are in a want for time. We have been talking for a long already. Kim, you're already getting angry. They say you have your vex money. Guys still have your vex money. They say we are scum. Have your vex money as a guy. If they do anyhow, you do that anyhow. Anyway, so our last words to our friends. If you're already in a domestic violence relationship, remember that violence is not only when you're physically hit. Yeah. It could also be attitude. It could be the silent treatment and all of those kind of things. It could be them depriving you of what you ordinarily value in them. Yeah. So those are things that are those are forms of domestic violence. Once it's messing with your mental health, those are forms of domestic violence. Now, what do you do if you're already in a domestic violence relationship? Number one, if you're not married to this person, please run.
Run, no.
Run. All of you girls that keep saying, he doesn't love me if he doesn't beat me. What is wrong with you?
They're definitely not okay.
What is wrong with you? Are you not loved at home? What is wrong?
Don't you have the love of Christ?
Is Jesus not in you? When did you keep the Holy Ghost?
Love yourself.
Does Jesus have to beat you? They beat Jesus to show that he loves us.
For you.
Did Jesus beat you? What is wrong with you? It's a lie from the pit of hell when you think that somebody has to show you that form of possession to show that they love you. I personally think a form of love is that you even have your freedom. It doesn't even have to beat you. And if you're married and they are beating you,
break the silence.
Please tell somebody.
Speak out.
You can also leave.
Speak out.
You guys can separate.
You can leave.
Talk to somebody about it.
Some women think that they can remain because of their children.
Yeah.
That was
what happened to that woman.
Osinachi.
Yes.
That was
Osinachi.
But now, they should not leave the
But
children.
now she has left the
She
children.
has
She has
See,
left
in
the
a way that she
children.
wouldn't even have wanted for
Yeah.
herself.
Please, if you're in a violent relationship and you're married and they are beating you up, please leave that relationship.
Your
Leave
life
the home.
matters.
Please separate
Every
yourself.
life matters.
I know that God told us that He doesn't like divorce, right? He doesn't like us to be divorced from our partners. But if they want to kill you, that's attempted murder. Please leave. They will kill you and your children will suffer. Another woman who you do not know will come in and they will beat your children. They will send your children to the streets. Leave. Pack your children and run. Run away. Please. Do not stay with domestic violence people. Please. Leave. Have the courage. I think that women should stop being full housewives. Please have a job. Because one of the reasons why a lot of women will not leave is because they think that when they leave, they will suffer.
Yes, who's going to take care of?
Who will take care of my children? Who will do this? If the man dies, what will happen? You will have to survive. Please leave, get a job, and leave. God will continue to help us in Jesus' name. We're going to have a part 2 of this conversation and we'll still be bringing Kim. I know you guys like Kim a lot because of how she has been talking. Kim, thank you so much. On our next episode, we're going to be talking about toxic workplace. Toxic workplace. You can also be experiencing domestic violence at your workplace. That's going to be our next topic. So till we come your way again some other time, please keep an appointment with us. Toxic workplace is going to be our next.
Subscribe.
God bless you guys so much. Please subscribe. Let's hear about your experiences with your domestic violence. Have you been in a domestic violence relationship before? Please share with us. How did you overcome? Are you still in one? Do you need help? Please send us a DM. Send us a DM. We'll be willing to work with you. We'll be willing to assist you. God bless you guys so much. We love you. Do you know our viewers, guys?
We love you all.